Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my YouTube channel. This should be my first video. Today we're going to be talking about the German Wunderwaffe, or in English, wonder weapons. Please consider liking and subscribing so I can continue to do these videos. We're going to start off with air wonder weapons. Firstly, the V1 rocket. The V1 rocket was a flying bomb developed by Germans in the late war. It was very ineffective, slow, it couldn't really reach its targets. It did hit in London in some areas, but wasn't very effective. And the Allied powers were able to intercept most of them. Now, moving on to the V2 rocket, this was a completely different monster. Like, if the V1 was the little brother, this was the big, strong, burly older brother. Okay, it had immense power. It was really the first ballistic missile ever created, and potentially even primitive drone, if you could consider that, because of its mid-air controls. It wasn't very effective. Again, none of the wonder weapons were very effective, but it did strike a lot of psychological fear into the Allies because it was so advanced for the time. Like, a ballistic missile in 1944-45 is really something crazy. Keeping with the subject of air, we have next is the Me-262. The Me-262, or the Schwalbe, or in English, Swallow, was the first operational jet fighter. Really, it was an interceptor, supposed to intercept American bombers, but it was roughly 150 miles per hour faster than America's fastest plane at the time, or fastest fighter they were using over Germany, which is a P-51 Mustang. And it could climb faster, turn tighter. It was really a remarkable plane. However, due to the late war production lines that were really only building older planes like Bf-109 and Focke-Wulf 190, they weren't able to build as many, and therefore were not very effective. Moving on to the ground, we have the STG-44 or MP-44, Sturmgewehr 44, whatever you want to call it. It was the first operational modern rifle, you could consider it. Like, think of an AK-47, M16, any sort of rifle that you would see a soldier today use. It was a intermediate cartridge, which at the time wasn't very common, be usually used for SMGs, but this was more powerful than an SMG, but lighter than a machine gun. It was super effective in late war, mostly used by the SS. Again, thankfully, it was very late in the war, and not many were built, so they didn't get that much use. Moving on to some more crazy ideas, the E-series tanks, like the Panzer 1000 or the Rat tank, they were essentially these super heavy tanks with super thick armor that were the size of houses, if you can even believe that. They were supposed to dominate the battlefields they were in, like kind of just like giant cannons. There were many downsides to these designs, though. Like, for instance, just the mass of them. They wouldn't have been able to move very fast, if at all. And if there was even a little bit of rain, any mud would keep the tank from moving. There were none operationally used on the battlefield, but there were some prototypes built. Moving on to some crazier ones that we have here. We have the solar gun, which is not real, nor would it work. It was essentially, or what the German scientists said it would be, is like a gun that would harness the energy of the sun and use it to shoot you, or I don't know, something like that. It was crazy. Next is the Die Glock, or I think it's called like the clock or the bell or something like that. It was a super crazy propaganda idea to be used by the Germans, essentially saying that this structure or bell or whatever could potentially be used to harness the gravity of the Earth, or be a time machine or something. It was kind of crazy. I don't have anything else planned to discuss in terms of Wunderwaffe. I'll have to research more. But for the meantime, if you would please consider liking, subscribing. I would really like to continue doing these sorts of videos. Let me know what kind of video you'd like me to do next. I could probably do a Wonder Weapon Part 2. Alright, thank you guys. Have a great day. See ya.